Hello students, welcome to EasyElimu Learning Simplified. My name is Mr. Stanley Ombogo, your teacher as always. So this is another exciting session that we are about to have, dear students. Remember, it is an analysis of an artist of the floating world, and we are dealing with the thematic concerns that are raised in this interesting novel by Kazuo Ishiguro. So today I want to talk about an interesting concern, that is an interesting issue that is also a central feature of the novel. So I ought to have started with this thematic concern, but anyway, let us proceed. So talking about marriage negotiations, this is a theme that is widely discussed in the novel An Artist of the Floating World, right from the first episode of October 1948 to the second, third, and to the last episode of June 1950. Now, in the house bargain, the investigations on Ono's background make him compare them to what happens in marriage negotiations. So this happens when he is approached by the daughters of the Sugimura, who approaches him to do that is to inquire if he would be interested to buy the house because they recommend someone who is highly respected. So the house bargain reminds Ono about the marriage negotiations, especially her daughter Noriko having been unsuccessful in the first marriage negotiation with the Miyake's family. So apart from that, the novel also starts when Ono is minding about his daughter, that is Noriko, who lost the potential husband, Jiro Miyake, possibly as a result of her father's reputation. So Ono refers to the marriage negotiations many times, even as the novel comes to an end. And he says that he meant to visit Matsuda immediately after Noriko's marriage negotiations. So remember in the previous in the previous episode, that is the episode of that is November 1949, Ono pays a visit to Matsuda, that is to ask if at all during the previous year Matsuda received any detective. But again, Matsuda responds by saying that he never received any call from anyone because at that time, sorry, he was ill. So another thing is that Setsuko, who is Ono's oldest daughter, reminds the father that since Noriko's negotiations will progress soon, he should take precautionary steps and be careful. So the father assures him, the father assures her, sorry for the mistaken pronoun, that they will have the same detective that they had the previous year and that he has nothing to hide. So Setsuko feels precautions will prevent misunderstandings and disappointment, sorry, finding that her sister is now 26 and there is no more time left. So another thing that we can also say about marriage negotiations as a thematic concern is that Ono reflects on his past and how it could have affected his daughter's marriage negotiations. Hence, that ignites the plot of the story, which is, remember, we said that marriage negotiations is also the central feature of An Artist of the Floating World. So through that reflection, through Ono's a reflection of some of the past events. Yeah? And again, him thinking that some of these events could have affected the daughter's marriage negotiations ignites the plot of the story. So again, he takes responsibility for his past actions and regards the changing values of Japan as perhaps being positive. So he even talks to the Saitos about his past mistakes to the amazement of many. So Ono also visits people like Mori, Kuroda, and many others so that the negotiations are successful. So another Important point to also notice that Ono surprisingly admits his mistakes in the ironical twist that was less anticipated uh, as the narrative is progressing. So the narrator traverses the down memory lane to World War II and touches on diverse themes. So remember, their country, that is Japan, lost during the war, and it also led to a number of effects. So Ono talks about Noriko's marriage negotiations with Setsuko and how Noriko had talked to Mori about the same until she received his congratulations. So the father observes that Noriko had believed they are a match with, that is the Jiro Miyake, in the earlier marriage negotiations that did not go well. So Setsuko is still interested in determining why the Miyakes pulled out in the middle of negotiations. Noriko too tries to infer that their pulling out from her negotiations were caused by something maybe the father might be knowing and not herself. So other illustrations that we still have that can help us support the theme of marriage negotiations is that Ono engaged in marriage negotiations with the Saitos for Noriko and takes suggested precautionary measures that were, given to him earlier on by the oldest daughter Setsuko by visiting all the people he had ever interacted with. That is to help ensure that, or to ensure that the second time's attempt of Noriko's marriage negotiations become successful. And again, we are told that when marriage negotiations are ongoing, both parties hire investigators to keep checking on the whereabouts of the family. So when the second negotiations set in for Noriko, the father pays attention to how to make that is everything right, including owning his past mistakes. This is again during the marriage conversation and negotiation with the Saitos. So the Saitos meet Noriko and Ono at Kasuga Park Hotel, and they interact while weighing the suitability of each party in their forthcoming union. So, dear students, again, that brings us to a close of the session. I do hope it has been interactive and helpful as well. Please keep it easy, Limu, and I look forward to having you in more episodes to come. Once again, I'm your teacher, Mr. Stanley Ombogo. Until next time, bye.